Humans have this great ability to create habits and become and excel at something. And so whatever you pick, not that it's the only thing that you can ever pick, but a lot of people end up, I guess, forced to pick. We know what we want. Our intuition tells us exactly what we want, but our logic or whatever dissuades us from pursuing it sometimes, right? Unless we have like the right mix of encouragement and opportunity, and just like drive, just self-drive. My name is Vivian Rook. I'm going to be starting a YouTube channel that documents my journey as a non-practicing artist to publishing my graphic novel. The entire thing, the entire process, I'm going to utilize YouTube as a motivator and to document it. I'm going to use Pinterest and then also my Instagram account because I'm just going to, upload the pictures on there. I want to document that, all the art that I do, and see how I improve. I am going to utilize Etsy and Shopify as resources where I will put out my art. In that, I will also create income streams. Hopefully then I would be able to have more time to put towards the graphic novel. That's really been shelved. Time management, self-improvement, learning how to do all these things. I'm gonna document all that. My end goal is to make my graphic novel, and I want it published by Image Comics, which I think is like maybe it's not the only anymore, but like pretty much it's like of the major players out there, it's the only one that is like a creator owned, like people who submit their work get to keep the rights to their intellectual property, and Image acts as like the publisher and distributor. So the type of website that I want to create is one that would be able to sell both my products, which are going to be art prints and clothing and other things that I can put my art on. As well, I want to make band merch for my boyfriend, and I want to be able to sell his music on there too. So this is all stuff that I've got to try to figure out. I want to start driving my own traffic. I was really scared of doing that. I didn't really understand how to do it. I've been starting to look into it. You can drive traffic through Pinterest. You can do it through ads. Justin, because he's got his own fan base, he's going to be driving traffic there, and I'd rather drive it to our own store than through Etsy. People keep talking about how easy it is for stores to just suddenly get shut down, and you put all this work, and it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work to create something that will turn into a passive income. That's the thing too, actually, about all this stuff that I'm learning is that, they all have these formulas. And if they're followed, it will be successful. It doesn't even matter this. Whatever you put your mind to is where you'll go. There's that, remember that for years I didn't understand what this meant. I think, therefore I am. And then I was thinking, like, does that mean because I am thinking that I exist? Is that what that sentence means? Like, I didn't get it. And it wasn't until recently that I was like, oh, I think blank, therefore I am blank. I think I'm going to fail, therefore I'm going to fail. And that does happen. Like my A career when I was a teenager was I wanted to be a movie director. I wanted that so bad. But I was not confident. I thought that everybody wanted to work in movies in some capacity. I gave up on my dreams before they even could start. Even when I was applying for college and didn't actually apply for college, I knew what I wanted to take. But at that time, I was thinking, like, I wanted to take illustration and I wanted to take film. I wanted that. But I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll learn art history. And it's like, why? I did not want to become like a museum director or whatever. I didn't want that. And so I didn't apply for anything. And I do regret not going to college back then for illustration. But I've learned now that the quality of education that you can receive for illustration online now these days is far better than most schools offered 20 years ago. And so, like, may as well have saved that money. It doesn't matter. The reason that I would have gone, that I regret not going, is because at that point in my life when I was like, why didn't I go? Is I would have had that debt paid off by then anyway. It wouldn't have mattered. I would have been in the same financial position that I was in at that time, but I would have had the college experience under my belt. I would have met a bunch of people. I would have networked, I wouldn't have just hopped around from minimum wage job to minimum wage job, being really quite dissatisfied with my life because I wasn't driven. So the B career, I spent my 20s and the first part of my 30s too, trying to decide which B career I should pick. Should I be a nurse? Because there's such a healthcare shortage in Canada, it would make sense to you. I thought about becoming an accountant. I also thought I would be very bored with that. I gave up on my A career and I couldn't decide on a B career. When I was 29, I was like, I was really into playing video games. I really liked video games that had a story to it. I feel like it's a really wonderful medium to be able to portray that, long story, sagas. And I was like, well, I want to make video games. My ex's mom, she was like, discouraged me from going into like making video games. You don't know anything about computers. Like, why would you go into that now? And at first I was like, well, that's mean. And then when I realized that that's ridiculous to enter into that field, I'm not going to learn how to make video games. You need a crew of 200 people to make a video game. That's not my passion. Making video games isn't my passion. I don't even play video games anymore. But what I wanted was a medium to tell my story, to tell this work of fiction that I've been working on since I was 14. What can I do? What can I do as one person to get this story out? I can make it into a comic book. I can turn it into a graphic novel. I can draw it. I can write it. This is going to be awesome. And I think I want to document it because I want to see it from start to finish, from non-practicing artist to published graphic novelist with Image Comics, I hope. That'll be so cool. That'll be awesome. That's my dream. I also have this little side dream of going to Comic-Con, having a table there. Actually, my dream is to have like a Q&A. That's been something that's been motivating me, but like not into action, but it's kept me. In fact, it has almost the opposite effect of like giving you that satisfaction of accomplishment without accomplishing something. Like if you, I remember a buddy of mine back in the day when I was 16, and I wanted to tell her about, this is my story idea. She's like, nope, don't tell me. It'll take the wind out of your sails. My mom always told me that talking about it will take the wind out of your sails and you won't actually do it. And there is some merit to that. It's very true because you kind of live out the fantasy of accomplishment in your head. You get those serotonin, you get the endorphins from the happiness of this accomplishment. You haven't done you haven't done anything. And so I was kind of doing that to myself too by having these daydreams. What was good about it is I was posing questions in my head that I would then answer. Now my Comic-Con dream is to have like an artist table. Ever since seeing it, there's this section of videos or whatever that Proco had released years ago, and it's like Ask a Pro, and he'd go around and ask a bunch of professional artists who had tables at Comic-Con, their opinions on what they can do to motivate themselves, what their daily routines are, and this was to help People like me who are trying to get motivated to draw. It's really interesting too. I feel like artists go through this kind of same thing where they just don't feel like they're good enough. And so it halts them, it stunts them in their path. And it's like, but the way you become good is you work through it, you push through it, you practice, you know. And then I'd draw something good every once in a while. I'll be like, yeah, I am still good, I knew it. And I would like rest on those laurels. Or I'd draw something and it just would not look good, and I would just be so defeated. And then another few months would go by before I'd even pick up another pencil. You know, but it's interesting. Now, I knew that moving to Toronto was going to be good for both of us. It would provide an opportunity, a space where we would be able to, expand in our personal growth as artists here. It also has the potential to do the opposite, you know. It all depends, but there is that opportunity there, and depending on whichever path you choose to take. And so far, we've been taking good paths. I think living here works out really well, has really helped. I'm happy here. There's a lot of opportunity for both of us. This is where we're going to make our start. My name is Vivian Rook. I'm going to be starting a YouTube channel that documents my journey from a non-practicing artist to a published graphic novelist. Thank you. Documenting this journey is going to ensure that I actually take this journey.